Just like everything else, parents need to be held accountable. Whether it's your
But for
child
how
getting,
long?
whether it's your,
How long?
whether it's your,
Right.
How long?
That's the fundamental question.
how long?
Yes.
For a lifetime.
No,
Unworkable.
For a lifetime.
you sound silly.
For a lifetime. I said, okay, I hear you. I expected that.
That's how you end up
I,
with
I absolutely expected that. Ramona,
okay.
what do you have to say?
That's how you end up with 50-year-olds in your basement. You have to set some ground rules so the
50
people
year olds in your basement.
or well, I don't have a basement because my house is all above ground, but you get my point. Like not up here, but down there, just stuck. I don't want that.
I know, like I said, I was expecting that. I was expecting y'all to disagree with that. I say a lifetime. You should be responsible. You should be held accountable for a lifetime.
How long is the parent responsible for the actions of a child? How long are you going to keep saying it's the parents,
A
it's the parents,
parent,
it's the
a
parents?
parent who here it is. Here it is. Everybody listening up. Here it is. A parent who cares about their child, who truly loves their child. If you truly believe that you did this amazing job as a parent, it doesn't matter how old they get. The way that they demonstrate, the way that they display themselves, and the way they carry themselves, the image they create for themselves, the way they act out in public, the way they treat other people, all these things. That is a reflection of how you have raised that child, how you have affected that life in this world. That is a fact. So that's why their age does not matter.
I disagree.
Who's disagreeing?
So first of all, we as parents are duty bound to get our child to a point where they can survive on their own, right? That's teaching them right from wrong, what have you, until they become productive citizens, right? Once they get out on their own, separate from the household or whatever, they are living their own lives. And at that point, they can be around certain influences that may turn them the wrong way. That does not have anything to do with the parent, because once they are of age, of adult age, and they can make their decisions on their own, it's their choice whether they do right or wrong. Now, as a parent, we hope that they keep on the
Right.
straight and narrow and what have you, you know what I'm saying? Because they're a direct reflection of us. However, them having their own mind, we don't know if they're going to go out here and get on drugs or whatever the case may be. But to your point, they are a product of their
Collective
interactions in life.
experiences.
So after they separate from my household and they go out here and they're on their own and they get around people, the wrong people or something like that, and they choose to do wrong, that has nothing to do with me. That's based on that person.
That's
On,
absolutely
on that,
incorrect.
yeah. So
Absolutely incorrect.
no.
Absolutely incorrect.
Well, we all have differences of opinion.
No, 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 no,
I
no,
know
no.
this is your platform. I know this is your platform, but I stand on what I said.
That's not. That's
Oh, he
absolutely.
know with the
That,
buttons.
that's absolutely incorrect. And this is part of the problem. I'm glad that we're talking about this, even though this has gone on far longer than I expected. This is very important conversation, because listen, I think this is what is being uncovered here is pointing out the problem. We're discovering the actual problem here, and that is that even though now most people will be able to agree with me that we as human beings we become the people we are based on our collective experiences in life. If you provide your child with the right understanding of things, you instill in them the correct form of discipline and morals, and that seemingly endless list of things that every parent should be focused on when it comes to creating people. Then when they get out into the world, they're not going to make these decisions to get be to subject themselves to drugs or certain dangers or certain things like that. The
We
type of
hope
person,
that.
the type of person that you are creating is going to significantly affect their decisions once they are of adult age and can make their own decisions. And you can say that, oh, well, they have their own mind and they think for themselves. You encourage all of that. You are molding the way that their mind. You have an effect on their mind. The same way you could have a cult go and brainwash people and convince them to take their own lives and do all kind of crazy stuff. The parents should be affecting their child the same exact way. It's just like one of the most easy ways to understand this. How do you think that people become hateful and racist and terroristic? These terrorist ass people in this world, that is something that is taught. They are taught to hate people. They're not born knowing this. They are taught all these things. They are you have these children who are failed by their parents, have no guidance, they feel like they have nowhere to go, and they get online, and that's how they get caught up in, and they end up getting recruited for Al Qaeda or some crazy online. They get caught up in the wrong stuff.
So
As I've mentioned in past videos of mine, they have been left with this mental void. Once they're old enough, once they have no choice but to be out there on their own and making decisions on their own, they're gonna seek to fill those voids. That's how it works. Shannon wants to say something.
So at what point does a parent stop raising their child? I mean, are they 40 and you still raising them?
No, I'm not saying. I'm not. I never said you take a lifetime to raise your child. Absolutely not. It doesn't take a lifetime to raise your child.
When you say that a parent is accountable for a lifetime, I mean, you say it all the time that they are a product of their collective experiences. Once they're under my roof, of course, I'm going to put positive influences and things around them. Mm-hmm. However, when they go out on their own, that's not necessarily saying that they're going to be around a positive influence. True. They can be around a negative influence, and thus that will potentially steer them down the wrong road. Now, of course, what we have done as parents for them is to teach them right from wrong, be able to make their own decisions. If they see that there's something that may be for the betterment of them, they be able to make a collective decision and walk away from that. However, folks experiment with things and all that type of stuff, and they may get caught up and go down the wrong road.
Right.
If that's something that I'm aware of with my child, of course I'm going to try to bring them back to the straight and narrow. But I'm not accountable for the experiences they make outside of my household. I'm not accountable for that. They are a grown person. They are. I instill morals and things in them. However, if they choose to do something else, that don't have nothing to do with me. I hope that they stay on the straight and narrow. But if they make a decision for themselves to do something other than what I think they should do, mm-hmm. that has nothing to do with me. That's on them.
That you have all these years, 17, 18 years, you have the opportunity to create this life, this person. Create all these experiences. There are plenty of children who do experience the same things we do out in this world. They see it on the news and all over the place, social media. They see all the terrible things, all the horrible people that we have to exist with. They have parents that instill the right type of structure and discipline. They instill the right mindset, the correct, a certain understanding in this life, into this life, that they don't have to concern themselves with their child going out there and falling victim to some type of nonsense or something. Do you see how music, entertainment has a lifelong effect on people?
Absolutely.
There's so many different things in this world that can have a literal lifelong lasting effect on people. Parents, we need to have that effect on our child. That way we can secure the fact that they are not going to be subjecting themselves to things they shouldn't. They're not going to turn out to be these people that are on drugs or that out there trying to fill these voids that were left from bad parenting. There's no way it makes sense that You can suggest that you don't have that kind of control. You don't have that level
I don't think it's
that
about
extents.
control.
You
We
don't
don't
have
have
that
control
type of
over
effect.
people.
You don't have that effect on your child. You as a parent, you should
You
have
have
that
an
effect on
effect
your child.
on
I
your
can't,
child,
Shannon.
but not
Hold on,
control.
Shannon. I can't hear what you're saying. Hold your thoughts. I'm gonna let you speak again. Just give me a moment to finish saying what I'm saying, and then I'll let you give your spill real quick. There's no way you should be able to sit here and say and say or even think that you can't have that type of effect on your child as a parent. That you can't have that type of effect on your child, but yet there's so many different other facets of life that can and will. It is possible. That's proof that it is possible. This is what we need to strive to be. We need to strive to be that type of effect on our children as parents. Shannon's ready to go off on me.
Well, I
She's
got a
ready to go
question.
off.
I got a question, and it might be, coincide with Shannon's about to say. The biggest problem with this generation is that they are not held accountable, and because they're not held accountable, they don't know what it is. And so,
How exactly are they not being held accountable?
because you are saying it's going to be the parent, because in essence, they won't have to be accountable. It's going to be then on us. Well, your child is doing this because you didn't do A, B, C, and D. I did the best that I could and can with what I have. Now, if you believe that, oh, these kids, it's your fault, that means you're not giving them any accountability for their actions, their decisions, because I've put good, sound decision making in them.
Mm-hmm.
If they choose not to use it, that is a decision that they have made, and they will have to.
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this then, as a parent, based on what you just said, do you feel like you said you with what you had, you did the best with what you had? Do you feel like you did? You were a great parent, a perfect parent. You feel like you have raised a great child, a child that's not going to go out into this world and create a horrible image for themselves?
I'm still raising my child, but I can say that I do better every day. It is a work in progress. Do I get everything right? Am I a perfect parent? Absolutely not.
Then why be a parent?
Excuse me?
Why be a parent? It sounds like you're not prepared. What you're admitting to is that you're not prepared. It's almost like what you're suggesting is that what you're saying. I'm listening to what you're saying. It's almost like as if you're suggesting that you're learning as you go. It's kind of happening as you're parenting. You're learning along the way. And why be a parent if you're not prepared? If you're not completely, totally prepared?
Okay, so let me answer that, right?
You're gonna answer that question for Kia. You're answering.
Because I'm one and done too. I got my one and done. I have one child, and I'll say this, because this was my first time being a parent. No one gets the blueprint on their child. No one. You can think that you have all the answers because of the models that you had from your parents or other adults that were around you. You may think that you have all the answers, but it is as you go along, you are learning, because that is an individual. That's not a product that is made from a manufacturer. That's a individual, and they come with their own personality and such. So as they grow up, you know what I'm saying? Of course, we want to instill everything positive into this human being, but this is not something that we get off the shelf.
Understood.
So
I'm not suggesting in any way at all that it's like it's.
Let me finish.
I understand that we are alive with human beings. I understand all that.
Your speakers now, I can't. You're like bird high pitch, so I don't understand what you just said.
Yeah, I've turned it down again, but I don't know what's going on. I'm not sure.
But I'll pose that question to you, right? When you had your first son, you knew everything? how to raise a kid.
It's not about knowing
Considering,
everything.
wait a minute,
I never
wait a
said I
minute.
never said knowing everything.
Considering that you spoke about your upbringing and that it wasn't the best and everything like that. Of course, with what you experienced as a child, you would not want to place those experiences or your own, right? You want to break the generational curse. To your point, I was raised in somewhat of a hostile environment, but I knew that when I had my son, that it wasn't going to be the same thing. I was going to break that generational curse. I didn't experience love or none of that stuff from none of my parents. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's how they was raised. They thought to express love, it was perceived as weak, right? So when I had my son, I poured all love on him. You know what I'm saying? Because he was going to know once he stepped out this door that if that was the last time that we saw one another, that he was loved by his parent. You see what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a catch-22. But again, I posed that question to you. When you had your first son, you knew everything about raising a child.
I never said that, and that's not that you're not understanding the real issue here, the real problem here. I think it seems like what is being ignored is the effect that we are expected to have on our child. It seems like that's what's being ignored. You talk about their own personality and attitude and all that. These are things that y'all mentioned in the video. You're talking about those things. Where do they get that from? How does that develop within them? They're not born with their own personality, their own attitude. These little girls and rolling their eyes, these young black girls with a diaper on, and she already got attitude and know how to roll her neck and all that. She's seen that. She's been taught that before. That's not something that she's born knowing. Every single thing about how we are created, it comes from what we experience in life. That is a fact. We're not born knowing any of this stuff. We're not born knowing how to speak already. We're not born knowing what attitude is.
I agree with that. They will model the behaviors that they see around them, talking to other elders and things like that or whatever. Okay, if this is going to be for the betterment of my son on how to raise him, then okay, it's trial and error. You know what I mean? So some things work, some things didn't. The things that
Trial
didn't work,
and
okay, I
error.
know. Listen, some things that work, I stick with. Those that didn't, I regrouped and did it another way. You see what I'm saying? But what I'm saying to you is there's no blueprint on raising a kid. Yes, you.
That type of understanding, things like that. That should be the very first reason not to be a parent. There should be no time ever during your parenting where you feel like, oh, it's gonna be, if you feel like there's gonna be at any point a need for trial and error where you're just trying any old thing and just seeing if it works or not, and just checking that off the list. That didn't
I'm
work.
not.
Let me try something else.
I'm not
That ain't
thinking
work
in
either.
that.
So let me try.
I
That's
do
not. It
understand that you
doesn't
take
sound
that
like. It
verb
doesn't sound
literally.
like the most.
I
Doesn't sound like the
I
most.
do understand that.
It doesn't sound like the most logical, the most sense. That it doesn't sound like it's a very responsible way of raising a child. But listen. Let me respond more to your question earlier. Let me get to that real quick, okay? Because yes, I did have the opportunity in my life, in my family, a lot of kids. I was like the last to have kids. The very well, my youngest sister, she's the only one that doesn't have kids yet. But I'm talking about cousins, all of them, friends, people I knew from high school. I didn't have my first child. I was 30. I literally I had the opportunity to see a family full of kids. My sister has five. A family full of kids. My brother don't know how many he got. I lost count a long time ago. I had the opportunity to be witness to a whole lot of this prior to becoming a parent myself. Not only that, but me and my personal choice to be the type of person that I am, that I've always tried my best to be. I intentionally live my life every single day, all the time. I intentionally live my life making decisions based on what makes sense, what's logical. I don't care about your feelings. I'm not all in my feelings about nothing. It ain't got shit to do with my feelings. Forget feelings. It's about what makes sense, what's best, what's logical. And I take the time, I take the necessary time to figure those things out. I don't wait and then, it's not trial and error. It's not as I'm going through it, I'm learning as I go. No. I have already subjected myself to a certain level of understanding. I've already thought this stuff already all the way through. All the way through. I'm talking about literally until adulthood. I'm trying to understand where lies the disconnect between two things. And those two things are the effects that the effects that the parent has on their child, and the effects that potentially any and everything else in this world can have on a child, whether it's some type of advertisement that is convincing your child of something that they need, something that they really don't need, whether it's like I mentioned earlier, whether it's like entertainment, it's music, the music business, some reality shows or something, social media having a massive influence on your child. Where's the disconnect? Where is there a because the point that I'm trying to make here is the same way that all these other things in life, these other aspects of life, can have such a significant effect on your child. That is what we as parents should be aiming to have. We should be aiming to have the biggest effect on our child, the most effect on our child. That type of conditioning, if you want to go as far as say brainwashing, we should be having that effect on our child rather than the social media and entertainment and all of that. There's levels here. Apparently, if we are understanding everything the same, there's levels here, levels of something. Let's figure out what that is, and either use it to our benefit or destroy it, one or the other. Because there's levels here. If you think that you've done everything you could do to send your child out that house on their way and into that world on their own and be able to do everything they be the best person they could possibly be, but there's something out there in that world that is able to have more of an effect on your child than you did. It's able to change your child's mind. It's able to affect. It's able to reverse everything that you have done for that life. Then how about we need to figure out how it is that entity, that thing, whatever it is affecting our children, our lives that way, and use that ourselves as parents. It's like we're at war here. Depending on how you think about it, it's kind of like we're at war here. Because the majority of the kids, especially black kids these days, the majority of them are so extremely easily affected, influenced, conditioned, brainwashed by entertainment, whether it's music and stuff they see on TV, social media, everything. We need to devise a plan, a way of infecting our life, meaning our children, our life in such a way as that does, so that we win. And when our children leave our house and go out into this world on their own, we don't have to worry about that taking over. That will not be able to defeat what we have done. Good parent. So you have an adult, college, and been through all that,
Yes.
all of that. So where's the like I mentioned earlier, the question, like where's the what was different? Where's the hang up? Or are you suggesting, should I think that, oh, you just got very lucky?
I don't know that anybody gets lucky. I think the mothers have already expressed that children don't come with manuals. Mine didn't either. She came really early, unexpected health problems, and I didn't have the added issue of having to go through this alone, right? So two people actively working to raise a kid, choosing each other every day, and then choosing to effectively parent is not easy. There are some ebbs and flows in the process, and there is no blueprint. And anybody who tells you anything different is telling you something that's not exactly right. You do the best you can for your child. Try not to make the mistakes that your parent made with you, right? And pray and wish for the best. Am I a great parent? No. And there are a lot of areas that I still beat myself up about. But if my daughter is representative of me, then dang, I did a really good job. I raised a kind, compassionate, honest kid who's graduated from school, right? Without any debt. That looks great on me. Did I fail? Absolutely. Over and over. And in some ways that I can't even apologize to her for. But if she is the representative of me, or even if I only have 50% of her, then I did a great job.
There's been you and your husband and your family. I'm sure there's other family who has played a part and had an effect on your daughter's life. I'm sure she wasn't just around just the two of you literally her whole entire life and that's it, like in a shell. So I'm sure she's had other influences, other people around her and all of that. I get it. I get it. What I'm getting at is this blueprint, or there's no instructions. You didn't have no instruction with your daughter. Things like that. You're saying things like that. Even though so many of us, unfortunately, are not being raised the best way. We are not being brought up by the best parents. Alcoholic father, mother on drugs. I was certainly not raised by the best parents. I absolutely wasn't. But what I'm suggesting to you all is that, and again, you've all said this about not having a blueprint and the instructions and all that. Then what we need to do, and this is where you this is a true example, a true method or means of breaking generational curses.
Absolutely.
What we need to do is to not have children until we have that blueprint, till we have these instructions.
Shannon, did you plan your son?
I didn't. Nope.
I didn't plan mine. I did every preventative measure I make to so it wasn't like I was like, oh, let me jump on it and get me a baby, because that's not life. That's not my life.
I wasn't planning.
So
All three of you are volunteering, and you just said it too. You all three are volunteering that your children were not planned. Okay, that doesn't change anything.
no, it doesn't.
It doesn't change anything that I said. In any situation where you bring a child into this world, knowing the circumstances, understanding the circumstances, that hey, this is a really messed up, fucked up neighborhood that I live in. I'm still gonna have kids and bring this life into this environment, exposing this child to this type of environment, this lifestyle. That is extremely irresponsible. That suggests you to be a very irresponsible and very reckless ass person. Mad at me all you want, I don't care. You are a very, very reckless and irresponsible ass person for doing that. Even a situation like the three of you have described as not being planned and all, and you also admitted not having instruction or blueprint as you put it, then I think maybe you should not have any children. That means if you have to be abstinent even. If you gotta be celibate. Oh, nobody's saying that now. Oh, y'all ain't doing that, huh? Okay. Can't go without that ding-a-ling. Can't go without that. They can't go without it.
That's so sad.
They can't go without it. No.
Turned it into this.
They can't go without it. They can't go without it. The key to fixing literally almost every single problem that human beings face in this world is parenting. The biggest problem for human beings in this world is human beings. All right, so I'm going to end it there because the phone is cutting off like literally right now. I do appreciate all three of you, Kia, Shannon, and Ramona, joining me for this long live. 2 hours long, 2 hours and 10 minutes. I appreciate that. Harvey Rants is 4. Oh, y'all ain't got used to what I'm saying yet. Okay, so I'll just say it myself. I was hoping for something, I ain't get it. Okay, it's all good. Harvey Rants has been talking about all things relative to positive change for our people. If you like this type of content, you want to have a conversation about the type of content, you want to be involved, hit me up, message me, email me, inbox me, however you wish to. Just get in contact when we can have these conversations, okay? If you truly care about positive change for us, then please subscribe to change. Subscribe to being better people. Thank you to all three of you again, Shannon, Ramona, Kia. Until next time.